reporting the Seahawks could bring in Mark Sanchez as Russell Wilson's backup. Trevon Boykin was released by the team yesterday because of domestic violence investigation. Sanchez would be reunited with his former USC head coach, Pete Carroll. Last summer, the Seahawks brought in Colin Kaepernick for a visit when they were looking for a backup quarterback. So, Shannon, why isn't Kaepernick in the conversation now?
I mean, Colin Kaepernick would make a lot of sense for Seattle, Skip, because you can get away with this, you can do away with the narrative. You'd have to install a second offense. But why would Pete Carroll want Mark Sanchez, the very Mark Sanchez that said he should come back to college because he wasn't ready to go play in the NFL? But that's not here. I digress, Skip. I digress. You know, last year in June, Pete Carroll said of Colin Kaepernick, he's a starter, and we have a starter, but he's a starter in this league. I can't imagine somebody won't give him a chance to play. Isn't that the very same thing that John Gruden just said? Everybody keeps saying, I'm surprised that he hadn't gotten a start, but gotten an opportunity to play. But the coaches that coach these 32 NFL teams have yet to give him a chance to play. John Gruden also said about Colin Kaepernick got beat out by Blaine Gabbert. Skip, do you remember? Mark Sanchez was in Denver, and he got beat out by Trevor Siemian. That's what I don't understand. I don't get this, Skip. I really don't. It's because it's like, yeah, he deserves to play, but I'm not going to give him a chance. And you know why? I get it. At some point in time, every backup, for the most part, Skip, was what in this league? A starter.
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick was a starter. Okay, right now, that's not possible for him.
Yep.
But if something were to happen to your quarterback, you would like to have someone. I bet you the Eagles are glad they got Nick Foles, somebody that had what? Starting experience, somebody that had playoff experience to fill in for Carson Wentz when they went down. How many seasons, Skip, have been lost over the years by a starter going down and not having a quality backup? It's hard for me to believe that that Mark Sanchez is better than Colin Kaepernick.
This situation screams for Colin Kaepernick to be signed at least as the backup quarterback to Russell Wilson.
Yes.
Trevon Boykin was an undrafted free agent who was the backup quarterback for what reason? Because his game was similar to Russell Wilson's, correct?
Yes.
Because at TCU, where I watched him a lot, he threw it really well, but he could bolt the pocket occasionally.
Yes.
He could run an occasional read option,
yes.
and he moved around pretty well. And so he became the backup, and the last time he played was 5 games in 2016. And then last year, they signed one Austin Davis to be the backup instead of Colin Kaepernick after they brought Colin in to talk to him. They didn't work him out, as I recall, right? But Austin Davis had not played in an NFL game since 2015. 2015, Austin Davis. So you had a shot at Colin Kaepernick. But we talked about it on the show. There was fear that the defense so wanted Colin Kaepernick, and the defense had such sort of lingering animosity over the final play of the Super Bowl after
49.
the 2014 season, that maybe it would be too upsetting to the locker room to give the defense such a viable option to replace Russell Wilson, a quarterback they all loved in Colin Kaepernick. So it would be a threat, it would be a divisive threat potentially to the defense versus quarterback locker room.
And the thing was, you did have Michael Bennett, you had Richard Sherman said they'd love to have Colin Kaepernick, but you've got a lot of those strong personalities on that side of the ball. So you have no excuse.
That's what I'm saying. Now that deck got cleared.
Correct.
And I'm still upset with those guys. I'm going to say it one more time. Richard Sherman got a pass. Michael Bennett got a pass. Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor got passes. They should have stood up and boycotted. They should have just done it. They could have. They were strong enough as a unit. They were veteran enough. They had enough cachet. They were decorated enough as Super Bowl champions to just stand up and say, no, we won't play the first game. They could have done that. But, again, you got to protect your individual paycheck. And I guess they all opted out because that was the most outrageous turning point of the Kaepernick saga was there.
Right.
Because that team was made for Colin Kaepernick. And you can argue at that point maybe it was too made for Colin Kaepernick for Russell Wilson's benefit.
Couldn't he back up Deshaun Watson? Isn't his game similar to Deshaun Watson? But you get Brandon Weeden. So I guess you're going to call it and diagram the exact same plays for Brandon Weeden as you do Deshaun Watson. What about Marcus Mariota? But if Johnny Manziel goes to any place other than Seattle, say Carolina or Tennessee, aren't you going to have to install a second offense?
Yeah.
See, at some point in time, that narrative is not going to play out anymore because we see a lot of quarterbacks that are backups that do not have the style of the starter. You want someone that if that starter goes down, he can fill in for 3 or 4 weeks, keep you above water until your starter comes back. And we just, wow, I am so surprised. So you got 32 guys that are surprised that Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job, 32 guys that can give him a job or give him an opportunity to compete for a job. So all these guys that are surprised, so when you look in the mirror, are you surprised that you're not giving him a job or giving him an opportunity to compete for a job?
Yeah.
Because that's the surprise that I see.
Because to me, if Pete Carroll and John Schneider, the GM, brought in Colin to at least interview him, to just check him out, see where he was emotionally, how committed he was, that's great. If they brought him in, to me, I think they were leaning towards signing him. Is it possible it went to the top?
Possible. But in this situation, Skip, I don't care who the head coach is. He's got to run this one up the flagpole. Now, there's a lot of decisions that's going to get made. Now, if you're dealing with Kirk Cousins because you're dealing with so much money, what people don't understand, Skip, when they sign when they give these guys these guaranteed money, you got to put that money in escrow. So $84 million, the Minnesota Vikings had to put that in escrow because they're not going to have a situation where this guy gets promised and something happened. So, okay, I get something like that. But in this situation, where there's not going to be a whole lot of money involved, you taking that up to, run that up there to the guy with the big corner office, because they go by office space. Whoever got the most office space, that's who's in charge. I can assure you the owner got the most office space. Run that up to the guy with the big office. See what he says.
Well, and maybe you have to run it even up above his office. Maybe it's got to
Pennsylvania
go
Avenue?
to, maybe it's got to go to New York City's office.
No, it might have to go to what you call him, D.C.
Or D.C., yeah. Oh, you mean you're going all the way to that office?
Yeah. He changed, so they might have to do that.
Well, that's true. You might have a point. Well, whatever happened, again, if this doesn't work now, then it's over.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, well, let's hope that's not the case, but it's looking that way as the more signings that happen. Does LiAngelo Ball have a future in the NBA? We'll discuss that next.